I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Howdy doody. It's showtime.
What's going on, guys? Yo, buddy Yard Boy coming back at you. Yeah, I've been slacking off as usual about putting out content for you. Well, but anyway, so we had some rain last night, heavy rain, and to be honest with you, we were needing some rain. It was starting to get dry here. Ground was cracking and grass had slowed down. We go through this every year. I don't know about where you are, the part of the country you're at. Here in the South, we have what are called the little winters, where we get false spring. This year we got it in late February. We were sometimes 75, 80 degrees in early February or late February this year. And then it kind of moderated out, and then get into April and we start having locust winter and blackberry winter and I forget what all, the catappa winter. And basically what it is when all these different bushes and trees, when they bloom, and the old folks call them, you know, little winters. We have to get through those. And to give you an idea of what we went through the last few weeks, last week at this time on a Monday, it was 35 degrees in the morning. So we were getting down into the 30s and 40s at night, and then maybe 60 for a high during the day. And then it was just a constant 15 to 20 mile an hour sustained wind. You take that with not a lot of humidity in the air and things start to dry out pretty quick. So the grass had kind of started to slow down a little bit the last few weeks, but it's made it easy to keep up with. If you're hearing these jets go over, I'm not far from the Nashville Municipal Airport. And as we're looking that way, we're like looking right down the end of the main runway at BNA Nashville. So we get a lot of air traffic across this area. So it's kind of wet this morning. Don't really want to get started on it today. At least not this morning. We'll give it time to dry out a little bit. A lot of standing water. And so I thought I'd spend some time getting some blades sharpened up and changing the blades out on the mowers, and I'll let you guys tag along a little bit. So we'll hop in here in the shop and fire up the old RBG 712 and get 2 or 3 sets of blades sharpened up, ready to go, and swap out the blades on the Turf Tiger, and she'll be ready to roll this week. All right, so hang on, let's get started with it. So first and foremost, before you start any kind of sharpening, I don't care what kind of blade sharpener you've got, eye protection. As somebody who in my early years did not wear these like I should have, I took a lot of shots to the eye with debris. Make sure you wear these, guys, young and old, because you only get one set of eyes. You can't replace them. And to this day, I still have problems with especially my right eye. Things got popped in there, and I was hard-headed and a slow learner. Also, I'm not using them to this because it's really not all that loud, but guys, you don't really understand the sustained noise you hear with these mowers and trimmers and blowers every day. Again, in my younger years, up until I was probably in my mid-20s, I used no kind of hearing protection at all, none. And today, at 45 years old, I can tell you, you only get one set of ears. I have a hard time hearing things, and I hear things, but it may not necessarily be clear, and I have to ask people to repeat themselves a lot because I just don't hear them. So above all else, take care of your eyes, take care of your ears. Some of you are going to yell at me because I'm not wearing gloves to do this. It is what it is. It's not a bad idea to have a good set of leather gloves when you're handling sharp objects like this, both sharpening blades and changing them out on the mower. I just don't always use them like I should. Probably something I got to get used to. I will tell you, I went for a while where I wore gloves while I was mowing and trimming, and I started getting those stupid tan lines on my hands, and I stopped. It's bad enough I got a tan line from my watch, but always use your protective equipment, okay? So I've done a video before on the RBG 712. I gotta tell you, this is going on about a year and a half that I've had it, and I'm probably getting pretty close to where I'm gonna have to change the wheel out on it. It's starting to get worn down pretty good. So we're gonna sharpen up. I've already got one set sharpened this morning, and I've got two more sitting here need to be sharpened, and then there's the one set that's on the mower. And we'll talk about that a little more here in a minute. It's that simple, guys. Only takes just a short amount of time to put a nice clean edge on your blades. Makes all the difference in the world in how it cuts. And you know, I can hear some of you out there right now, well, you're not balancing your blades. Listen, in 30 years of doing this, I don't know that I've ever balanced a blade in my life. I've got one of the little cheap balancers that you can buy from Tractor Supply that's just a little cone that balances on a stud, and you know, as long as they're close, and I usually try to take an even amount of strokes on each side of the blade, it's going to be pretty well balanced. Got a 10-year-old machine here. Knock on wood, still got the same original factory spindles in it. You know, if you want to balance your blades, I'm not mad at you. Knock yourself out. I just never have bothered with it. And yeah, I know I could even do something as easy as drive a nail in the wall and hang it on that. That's how my granddad used to do it. And he was a stickler. Now, he was a stickler. If it was just off by that much, he'd sit there with a hand file. And I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. Okay? So I'm gonna finish sharpening up what blades I've got sitting here. I've already gotten one set sharpened. I'm working on the second set. And I got a third set I'm gonna sharpen, and then there's a set that's on the mower right now. So I've got 4 sets of high lift blades for this mower, and I keep, you know, enough sharpened up that I can swap them out and then just spend some time, like on a rainy day like today, or a day where it has rained and I'm waiting for it to dry off. I can sit here and, you know, spend 30 minutes and sharpen up enough blades to last for a couple of weeks. So I'm gonna finish this up and then we'll get some more footage. We're gonna jack a mower up here and change the blades out and may do a few other things to it while we got it in here, okay? All right guys, so I got blades sharpened up, so now we're gonna pick the mower up and swap the blades out, and if there's any buildup on the deck, we'll get it cleaned out as well, so sit tight. All right, let's got the blades off. Old trusty 18 volt DeWalt impact gun I've had for 16 years now. Got the adapter to convert it to 20 volt batteries, which is everything else I've got is 20 volt. Word of the wise, if you ever want to convert a DeWalt 18 to a 20 volt, get the name brand adapter. Don't get the cheap knockoff from Amazon. It'll burn your batteries up. Okay, so got most of the junk out from underneath the deck. We got the blade sharpened up, ready to go on. I typically do not sharpen because, as I said, I run the X blade setup. Typically, I don't sharpen the top blade, which is a mulching blade. I just don't. Reason being, it is not your primary cutting blade. The blade on the bottom is the one that's going to make the primary cut. All this is doing is creating the extra airflow inside the deck, okay? And then with the mulching fins on there, people think these actually cut. They don't. They just simply alter the airflow. It's all about, getting a good cut, number one, you gotta have a good sharp blade. You gotta have blade tip speed, which is one thing I suffered with the old engine, because it wasn't hitting the RPMs like it should. So the blade tip speed was down. You gotta have sharp blades, you gotta have good blade tip speed, and you gotta have good airflow through the deck. And what this does with this extra blade, and then you enter in the fins, it alters that flow through the deck that causes it to chop it up finer, okay? And it throws it out further. You get more. Those of you that run these blades, you know what I'm talking about. You get into some good thick grass and you'll see like a mist of, just a green mist blowing out the side of that deck, so that you really don't have to double cut anything. And if you do have to double cut anything, it pulverizes it to nothing. But I want to show you something here real quick. If you ever consider running these and you've got the velocity deck for the Turf Tiger or a Tiger Cat or a Cheetah or a V-Ride, you know what those of you that run the Skag, you know what I'm talking about when I hold this up. This is your spacer that goes between the top of your blade and your spindle. That's the stock spacer. When you get the X-Blade kit, and I'll show you the other part of that here in a second, this is an aftermarket spacer. I want you to look at the difference. Reason being, you have to adjust, you have to account for that extra thickness of that extra blade on there. Otherwise, if you don't, if you try to put this stock spacer on there and run that extra blade, you're not gonna have enough thread on the top of the spindle to put your nut back on. Now, when this initially came out, this was not an option. And I had to actually go to a warehouse. I couldn't go to like a Tractor Supply. I had to go to a specialty warehouse in downtown Nashville. And I spent half a day doing this because it's that popular of a place. And I bought a longer bolt, which I still run on here, and it makes no difference, okay? It makes no difference. But I did with a recent set of X-Blade adapters that I bought. I bought the aftermarket spacer. This is basically the heart of the X-Blade system, okay? Is this plate. And what it does, and you'll see it on my blades where they're at. This will be your bottom blade, and this just fits on there. Then your bolt goes through that hole, and then your second blade fits down inside of that. Okay, and I'm gonna have to knock some of this gunk off of it. It'll take care of itself here lately. But it does that. And that's it. That's all it is to it, guys. Now, years ago, before I had Skag, I had a brand called Everride. And it's essentially what is now Gravely. A lot of what you see in the Gravely mowers today were part of the Everride line. Aaron's bought out Everride probably 15, 20 years ago. I ran X-Blades on that because it was a tunnel deck. It had no baffle in it. And the reason I ran X-Blades on it is because it would cut off tall grass and it'd leave it tall. So I wanted something to chop it up more. And I ran X-Blades on it, but this adapter wasn't part of it. The problem you ran into was sometimes over time, those blades would close up on themselves and they wouldn't be at a true 90 degree. And when they would do that, they would tighten up the bolt even more, making it harder to get off. All right. So this is in no way an endorsement. Nobody has paid me to talk about this, but I've had good success with it. So we're gonna slap this new set of blades on and we'll be ready to go. So there you have it, folks. Taking just a little bit of time on a morning when it's maybe a little too wet to mow, making sure I've got plenty of blades sharpened up. Now I've got a sharp set of blades on the mower. I've got 2 sharp sets sitting over there ready to go. And I've got one that I can take a minute or two and run through the blade grinder and it'll be ready to go. So, by the way, that's my security guard, Chuck, back there. Old Chuck, man, he'll whoop you if you come in here. Come in here messing around. you got to make sure you stay on keeping your blade sharp, guys, because if you don't, you're going to be one of these. You're going to be mowing and you're going to be like, why have I got all these little streaks in my grass? Why do I have all these little mohawks everywhere? You got to have sharp blades, guys. You know, when I see guys on YouTube and I see guys on these Facebook groups that I'm in, they're like, why is my mower leaving these little streaks in the yard? It's usually one of about maybe 3 things that's very easily remedied. Sharp blades, you got buildup in the deck, and check your tire pressure. 1 pound of air in a rear tire can make all the difference in the world in the way a mower cuts. So keep up with those things. Keep your oil checked. Hey, I kept the oil checked in that old mower. It just after time, it just wore down. So keep your filters cleaned out, blow everything off at the end of the day. You got a leaf blower, blow it off, and then clean out the bottom of your deck. Appreciate you guys stopping by today. I know that you want to see some mowing footage, and I promise you I'm gonna get you some mowing footage, okay? Calm down. I had to get through this spring rush, getting everything started back up. So, hey, if you haven't done so, leave me a thumbs up on this video. And if you haven't done so, I don't know why you wouldn't, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring the notify bell, and hey, for all things Yard Boy, head over to www.theyardboy.net. And hey, y'all keep them straight out there now.
Howdy doody.